Welcome to the main event. This is True Ring News Network, your ringside access to WWE news and drama. Subscribe and let's rumble. The WWE Universe is reeling today after one of the most unexpected and chaotic backstage incidents in recent memory, involving the shocking return of Brock Lesnar and his confrontation with Bronson Reed. What unfolded wasn't filmed for the main show, yet it created a tidal wave of reactions across social media and left fans asking how things spiraled out of control so quickly. Witnesses backstage describe an atmosphere of confusion and disbelief as Lesnar reappeared without warning, stepping into Reed's path with the kind of commanding, intimidating presence only he can generate. Staff members, producers, and fellow superstars rushed toward the commotion after hearing raised voices and equipment crashing, only to find the two powerhouses squared off in an intense, heated confrontation that nobody saw coming the moment tensions erupted. What people saw in that moment wasn't a simple disagreement between two competitors, but a clash of personalities and egos that had been building quietly behind the scenes. Bronson Reed, known for his confidence and growing dominance in WWE, had reportedly been vocal about taking his place among the top powerhouses of the company. Insiders claim Reed had been telling others backstage that he was the new unstoppable force on the roster, hinting that the days of Brock Lesnar ruling the heavyweight landscape were over. Whether Lesnar heard these comments directly or through the grapevine, one thing became clear: he was not about to let anyone erase his legacy without a response. When he confronted Reed, their verbal exchange quickly escalated, triggering a wave of panic among staff who weren't prepared to handle two of WWE's largest and most intimidating athletes battling for dominance. How the backstage area reacted. The backstage crew was thrown into complete disarray as the confrontation grew more intense, with equipment rattling, voices rising, and production workers scrambling out of the way. People nearby described Brock Lesnar as laser-focused, forceful, and unyielding, while Bronson Reed stood his ground with equal determination. Both men are known for their power, but in such a confined space, even small collisions with equipment or crates created loud crashes that added to the chaos. Security teams and referees rushed in. The moment they realized the situation was escalating beyond normal limits, trying to create distance between the two giants. Even so, the atmosphere felt unpredictable, like anything could happen at any second. What followed wasn't an all-out attack, but a series of heated exchanges, aggressive shoves, and physical struggle that left the environment shaken. What the leaked footage really showed. The leaked cell phone footage that immediately took over the internet didn't display explicit violence, but it clearly captured the intensity of the confrontation. The video showed Brock Lesnar confronting Reed with a level of raw emotion rarely seen outside the ring, pushing him back into a production area as crew members rushed to intervene. In the background, equipment toppled, lights swung, and several people attempted to separate the two athletes before things escalated further. Reed, to his credit, tried to push forward and stand his ground, refusing to be intimidated. But the overwhelming takeaway from the footage was the sheer force and presence Lesnar brought with him. Fans watched in disbelief as security struggled to maintain control, culminating in the two competitors finally being pulled apart as officials escorted them to different areas. Bronson Reed's condition and WWE's response. Following the altercation, medical personnel attended to Bronson Reed to assess any injuries resulting from the intense physical struggle and the impacts with equipment during the confrontation. Early reports suggest Reed suffered strained muscles, bruising, and general physical wear consistent with a high-intensity backstage scuffle. While none of the injuries were career-threatening, they were significant enough for WWE to pull him from upcoming matches so he could recover properly. What truly stunned fans, however, was WWE's immediate silence. No public statement was released, no disciplinary measures announced, and no clarity offered on whether the confrontation was expected, allowed, or part of a storyline. To many, the company's silence felt like a deliberate choice, either to keep the mystery alive or because the situation wasn't as simple as fans believed. Locker room. Reaction, fury, fear, and admiration. Inside the WWE locker room, emotions are running high. Some superstars are furious that Brock Lesnar was allowed to walk into the arena unexpectedly and confront a rising talent without immediate repercussions. They feel it sets a dangerous precedent, that anyone can challenge anyone backstage without consequences. Others, however, believe Lesnar's return injects electricity and unpredictability into WWE at a time when the company is actively trying to rebuild its edge. They see the confrontation as the launching point of something major, potentially the start of a storyline that pits two of the most powerful athletes in WWE against each other. Confidence in Bronson Reed remains strong, with many believing he will come back more focused and more determined than ever. But they also acknowledge what everyone knows. Going up against Brock Lesnar, physically or psychologically, is no ordinary challenge. Was this a setup? Insiders are divided. One of the biggest questions swirling around the WWE universe is whether this was a spontaneous confrontation or something orchestrated by WWE leadership, possibly even by Triple H himself. Some insiders believe Lesnar was brought back strategically to ignite a new era of high-stakes rivalries, and Bronson Reed was chosen as the perfect catalyst because of his rising status. The lack of punishment and the total silence from management only fuel this theory. Others insist that Lesnar's return was unplanned, and that WWE is trying to control the fallout privately. The company has a history of blurring the lines between scripted drama and real conflict, which makes the truth even harder to uncover. Whether intentional or accidental, this moment has launched one of the most talked-about controversies of the year: what this means for Bronson Reed. For Bronson Reed, the aftermath of this confrontation could shape the trajectory of his career. Before this incident, Reed was gaining incredible momentum, proving himself as one of the most imposing forces in WWE. Now, he faces a different kind of challenge, not battling opponents in the ring, but overcoming the psychological and physical effects of a confrontation with one of WWE's most feared legends. Many fans believe this could become the storyline that pushes Reed into the next level of superstardom. Others worry his rise could be derailed if WWE positions Lesnar as the dominant figure in their rivalry. What's certain is that Reed now has one of the most compelling narratives in WWE. The underdog powerhouse, climbing back after being tested in one of the harshest ways possible. What happens when these two meet again? If WWE chooses to continue this story, a future showdown between Bronson Reed and Brock Lesnar could be one of the biggest heavy-hitter matches in modern WWE. Fans are already imagining a rematch inside a steel cage, a last man standing match, or even a Hell in a Cell encounter. The contrast between Reed's rising power and Lesnar's established legacy creates a perfect collision of eras: new versus legendary, colossal versus beast. The question is whether Reed will recover in time and whether WWE will use this conflict as the start of a long-term rivalry. One thing is clear: the tension between these two superstars is now the hottest topic in the wrestling world. Final question: did Brock go too far? So now the WWE universe is left debating a simple but explosive question. Did Brock Lesnar cross the line, or did Bronson Reed provoke the wrong man at the wrong time? Opinions are split, emotions are high, and the company's silence only intensifies the speculation. Whether this was a spontaneous eruption or the beginning of a calculated storyline, one thing is undeniable: the fallout has only just begun. Whatever comes next, the confrontation between Brock Lesnar and Bronson Reed has already reshaped the landscape of WWE in 2025.